There's a number in the casino industry that most gamblers never hear, and it's the only number that actually matters. 2. That's the house edge on one of the most popular games on the floor, expressed as a percentage, 2%. That's it. It sounds so small, it's almost insulting. You'd think a business built on a 2% advantage would be scraping by. Instead, that tiny number built Las Vegas, it built Macau. It turned a strip of desert highway into a $13 billion a year machine for a single company. Not $13 billion in total value, $13 billion in revenue in 1 year from one casino operator. And here's the part that should really unsettle you. Casinos don't need to cheat, they don't need luck, and they don't even need you to lose every time. The math is already rigged so gently, so invisibly, that over enough time and enough players, the house simply cannot lose. It's not gambling for them, it's manufacturing with dice instead of machines. So today we're pulling back the velvet rope and looking at the real economics of the casino business, where the actual money comes from. The one gambler who lost more than most companies make in a year, and the psychological tricks built into every square inch of the floor to keep you there. Let's get into it. Let's start with the concept that makes the entire industry work, the house edge. Every single game on a casino floor is mathematically engineered to favor the casino just slightly. Roulette gives the house about a 5.3% edge. Blackjack, if you play with perfect strategy, gets the house edge down to under 1%. But almost nobody plays with perfect strategy, so the real world edge ends up closer to 2%. Here's the important part. The house edge doesn't mean the casino wins every hand or every spin or even every night. It means that over thousands and thousands of bets across thousands of players, the casino mathematically converges on that percentage. It's the same principle an insurance company uses. Any single policyholder might file a massive claim and cost the company money. But across millions of policyholders, the math always evens out in the insurer's favor. A casino floor isn't really a gambling operation from the house's perspective. It's a statistics factory. Every table, every machine, every hand of cards is just another data point feeding a probability engine that was solved by mathematicians decades ago. The suspense you feel at the table is real. The outcome at scale was never actually in doubt. Now, with that principle locked in, let's talk about where the real money in this industry actually comes from, because it's not where you think. Picture a casino in your head right now. What do you see? Probably a green felt blackjack table. Roulette wheel spinning, a craps table with a crowd yelling around it. That's the image Hollywood sold us for 70 years. Here's the reveal on the Las Vegas Strip. Slot machines alone accounted for 73.6% of total gaming revenue in 2024. Not half. Not a large chunk. Nearly 3/4 of everything a casino makes on the gambling floor comes from banks of blinking, beeping machines that require zero skill, zero strategy, and zero human dealer. Blackjack, the game every movie is built around, generated $1.34 billion in Nevada that year. Slots alone generated multiples of that, and this isn't a recent shift. Slot machines have made up roughly 2/3 of Las Vegas gaming revenue since 1990, meaning the iconic table game floor you picture has been the smaller half of the business for over 3 decades. Why? Because a slot machine never sleeps, never needs a break, never makes a dealing error, and never requires the casino to pay a single employee to operate it. One blackjack table needs a trained dealer, a pit boss keeping watch, and physical space for maybe 7 players at a time. A single slot floor can pack in hundreds of machines, each one running its own tiny house edge, often far higher than any table game, sometimes into double digits, 24 hours a day, completely unattended. Table games are the theater. Slots are the factory floor, and the factory floor is where the actual billions get printed. Here's a second fact that surprises people. At the biggest resorts on the planet, gambling itself, slots included, is often not even the whole story. Take Las Vegas Sands, one of the largest casino operators in the world. In 2025, the company pulled in around $13 billion in total revenue, with roughly $9.8 billion of that coming directly from casino operations. The rest, close to $3 billion, came from hotel rooms, food and beverage, and retail. The malls, restaurants, and shopping built directly into the resort. This is the real genius of the modern casino business model. The gambling floor is the engine, but everything else in the building is designed to keep you inside it for as long as possible, spending money in a dozen different ways at once. And it works. Las Vegas Sands posted a net income of roughly $1.6 billion in 2025, with a net margin around 12.5%, genuinely excellent for a business this large and this capital intensive. Wynn Resorts, a smaller but still massive operator, pulled in over $7 billion in revenue the same year. with casino operations alone contributing more than $4 billion of that. Now let's talk about the individual gamblers who make this whole industry possible. The whales. A casino whale is a high-stakes gambler who bets so much money, so consistently that their behavior can single-handedly move a casino's quarterly earnings. There are believed to be only around 200 true whales in the entire world at any given time, and casinos compete ruthlessly for them. The most staggering example in casino history is a businessman named Terence Watanabe. Over the course of a single year, Watanabe lost an estimated $204 million gambling at 2 casinos in Las Vegas. Not over a lifetime. In 12 months, he was reportedly betting up to $50,000 a hand, and at his peak, his losses alone accounted for around 6% of his casino operator's entire annual gambling revenue. One man, 6% of a public company's yearly earnings, and here's what he got in exchange. Round-the-clock personal hosts assigned solely to him, private jets on call to fly him in from anywhere, penthouse suites and comps, free rooms, food and perks, reportedly worth over $100 million. The casino wasn't just tolerating his losses, it was actively courting them. Because a whale who loses $200 million a year is worth more to a casino than almost any marketing campaign money could buy, this isn't even close to a unique story. Australian media tycoon Kerry Packer routinely lost tens of millions in single sessions, once reportedly dropping around $25 million, and was famous for handing out $100,000 cash tips to dealers on a hot night. Another gambler wired over $70 million to a single Las Vegas casino across 3 years before it all came crashing down in a fraud conviction. Here's the number that ties it all together. It's estimated that just 3% of players generate nearly a quarter of all Las Vegas gambling revenue. The entire high roller infrastructure, the private jets, the dedicated hosts, the 8-figure credit lines exist because a tiny sliver of gamblers is worth more to a casino than the other 97% combined. Now let's talk about the part of this industry that people walk away from a casino talking about for years afterward, the psychology baked into the building itself. Start with the obvious one. There are no clocks and almost no windows anywhere on a casino floor. This isn't an accident of interior design, it's deliberate. Without natural light or a visible clock, your brain loses its normal sense of time passing, and 20 minutes at a slot machine can feel like 5. Then there's a myth you probably heard that casinos pump extra oxygen into the air to keep gamblers awake and alert. It's a great story. It's also false. There's no verified evidence any casino has ever done this, and pumping supplemental oxygen through a building full of smokers would be a genuine fire hazard. What actually keeps you alert is far simpler and far cheaper. Free alcohol delivered straight to your seat, bright ambient lighting, and a layout specifically engineered so you have to walk past dozens of machines just to find a bathroom or an exit. Slot machines themselves are a masterclass in behavioral design. Near misses, 2 matching symbols and one just barely off, are deliberately programmed to appear more often than random chance would produce because a near miss triggers the same dopamine response in your brain as an actual win, making you want to spin again immediately. The sounds are tuned in major keys designed to feel celebratory even when you've lost money on that spin, because most modern slot machines are built to make losses feel like near wins through flashing lights and cheerful chimes. Even the chips are psychological engineering. Once your cash becomes a stack of colored plastic discs, it stops registering in your brain as real money the same way bills do, which is precisely why casinos convert your cash the moment you sit down, and why the cashier's cage is often tucked away in the farthest corner of the building. None of this makes casinos evil. Exactly. It's a legal business clearly labeled that people choose to walk into. But the economics only work because the environment is engineered floor to ceiling to keep the house edge grinding for as many hours as possible. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. Insurance companies don't get rich by predicting a single car crash. Casinos don't get rich by predicting a single hand of blackjack. Both businesses got rich the same way, by finding a tiny, legal, mathematically guaranteed edge and then repeating it so many times for so many hours that luck simply stops being a factor. That's the real secret behind the neon lights, the free drinks, and the $13 billion resorts. It was never about beating you on any single bet. It was about outlasting you one blinking, beeping, clockless hour at a time. If breakdowns like this are your thing, this is exactly what we do every week here on Economic Files, pulling apart the hidden math behind the world's biggest businesses. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you there.